US President Joe Biden is facing political uncertainty, with the prospect of a primary challenge becoming a very likely possibility from within the Democratic Party. Professor Joe Siracusa, political analyst at Curtin University, joins me now. Thanks for your time this afternoon, Professor.
Thank you very much.
Well, Joe, the president is in a vulnerable position as we start the new year, isn't he?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Did you grow up reading Moby Dick, and there's Captain Ahab with his wooden leg, and he's doomed to failure and taking everyone with him. That's what he is right now. Everybody looks at this guy, and they're afraid that they're all going to be swept out of office. In fact, very conservative people pick the House to lose 37 seats, the Democrats lose 37 seats, and probably lose the Senate as well. So he's toxic for most Democrats. Progressive left, of course, feel they've been abandoned by him. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. And the establishment part of the party would like to see him disappear because keep in mind, on election day, they not only vote for the president and the House and the Senate, but they're voting for mayors and governors and even the dog catcher. And if there's a down ballot, a bad day, he's going to take everybody with him. So they'd like to see him disappear. Now, all of his opinion polls are coming in negative. People don't like him. They don't approve of his government. 65% of Americans think he's going in the wrong direction. And of course, he promised safe hands with the COVID and return to normalcy. That didn't happen, of course. And so maybe he promised too much. But Biden's very vulnerable right now, and the left and the other parts of the party are looking for ways to jettison him as soon as possible. And the New York Times had a little article a couple of days ago saying that there are 11 Democrats ready to take his place in the nominations. So all those people who wanted to run against him once, they're ready to run again.
We'll get to that in just a moment, but how much of a concern is the president's age, keeping in mind that after the 2024 presidential election, he'll be 82?
Well, I used to say when Trump was running that 75 was the new 65, but I guess 80 is 80. I mean, he's going to be a step behind. Look, even if the president is not suffering from the usual infirmities of old age or of aging, he's really probably not on top of his game. And keep in mind, I'm going to make a little confession here on air. I'm as old as this guy. And I've seen everything in my lifetime that he has seen. And I can tell you that in his 50 years in government, there's not a single speech he is remembered for or a single piece of legislation he is remembered for. All he is remembered for is mangling Anita Hill at those Judiciary Committee hearings. So, look, the president did what he was supposed to do. He beat President Trump on the day, but after that, it just hasn't worked out very well. And the Democratic Party, which is not as progressive as you might think. AOC said famously a couple of weeks ago that she and Biden would not be in the same party in any country except America. Of course, she doesn't know anything about the ALP. She's center left, he's center right. And the majority of the party, of course, is establishment. They see a great role for Wall Street, great role in being pragmatic. She doesn't want to be pragmatic. She wants to carry through a Bernie Sanders mandate for Americans who are behind the eight ball, or who are having trouble eating, getting hearing aids, going to school, paying for their debts and all that kind of stuff. So she still wants the radical program, but it's not going to work, and Build Back Better ain't never going to happen.
Well, fortunately for you, I'm not an ageist, Joe, so we'll just move on. Which politicians within the party do you think are best placed to challenge the president? Well,
naturally, the Kamala Harris has a bit of a lock on it, not because she's particularly brilliant or spectacular, but she polls 40% of the black vote. Keep in mind that blacks make up 40% of the Democratic Party, as opposed to 70% in the Republican Party. She'd also poll mostly the women in the suburbs, mainly. So she has a better polling power. But there's, Pete Buttigieg, and there's a Senator Klobuchar from Minnesota, even the governor from Illinois, the guy I know pretty well, Pritzker. He's thinking of running too. So everybody would like to replace him. I think Kamala Harris would have the best chance of replacing him.